Always great having my next guest on the show. It's the Hanyak, Dustin Jacoby, who will be back in action on April the 15th when he takes on Azamat Murzakanov. DJ, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing well. Life is good, and here we are getting preparing for another fight and getting the interviews underway. And it's always good to talk to you, my man.
Yeah, well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And again, a big fight here. Azamat, he's number 15. Right now, you're number 14. Obviously, we saw you last time in the octagon in October against Khalil Roundtree. We'll dive into that in a second. But first, I just want to ask, what life has been like for you since. I have to imagine you've been on the links quite a bit.
Well, actually, I haven't because of the weather, man. I was able to play a couple times in Mexico, but life has been pretty crazy. I feel like I've lived seven different lives since I fought Khalil 3 months ago, and was able to go to New York and watch the Izzy Pereira fight, which was awesome. And it was my wife's birthday, and splurged a little bit there, and we were on an elk hunt. And I've been to Mexico, and I've been back to Vegas cornering Cody Brundage. I've been all over the place, man, but life's been good. And through all of that, been in the gym and getting prepared for the next battle, man, the next opportunity, which comes April 15th.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. Well, break the fight down with Khalil for me. I know you've done your interviews, you've talked about it a little bit. It's safe to say that that was one of the bigger controversies as far as judging goes of 2022. I thought you won it 2 rounds to 1. I think you probably feel the same way. Just thoughts looking back at it now.
Oh, I really feel the same way, man. And again, no disrespect to Khalil. He was a great fighter, a great competitor. Both guys, both warriors that night left it all in the ring, in the octagon. And that's all you can ask for. I definitely feel like I won that fight. I've had those happen so many times in my career, 3 or 4 or 5 different times where I went through the fight and I got told I lost, but I didn't lose that fight. I know deep down I didn't lose that fight. It was just another learning experience, another notch on the belt. And, the judges told me that I lost that night. I got paid like I lost that night. I dropped in ranking like I lost that night. And that all hurt. But, about the week after, I was on an elk trip and I was having a great talk with a good buddy. And also goes down the same path. What I'm getting ready to say is my grandma would always say, "This too shall pass," and this too has passed. And you just got to stay positive. And I've had great talks about it, and I've moved on, man. I genuinely have, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity, April 15th.
You said you've moved on. One of the questions I had for you was I thought maybe an immediate rematch or at least a rematch, closely here, maybe in 2023 would happen. Is that something that you contemplated?
I didn't really contemplate it because in my mind, it was clear who won. And even talking with Khalil in the octagon that night, we both kind of had this same feeling of who had won before the decision came. If there was a rematch, it's not like I wouldn't welcome it. Of course, I'd love an opportunity to go beat any guy that's beat me before, including the champion Alex Pereira. Maybe there's a fight down the road there with him and in MMA as opposed to kickboxing. But as the competitor inside me wants to compete against anybody that's beat me and get an opportunity to beat them again and best them. But that's not my call, and I can't really predict or assume that can happen because if it happens, it happens, and it's just out of my control at this point, and whatever comes.
What would you have done differently in that Khalil fight?
Yeah, I think I tell you what, I was doing a lot of march, my signature march. I march a lot, and he game planned perfectly for it. I didn't realize that each time I did that, he would just counter with big punches. And so I would definitely watch that march, which will be a little bit different. I know Asma, but I'm sure everybody that's watched me fight has keyed on that, and so we're aware of that and training a little bit differently and tweaking that a little bit. But it was just a tough fight. I think I think I could have been more relentless with the takedown as well, just to score some points. But at the same time, you never know what those judges are thinking. When I kind of shot in a couple times, and Khalil's strong, man. He's strong in the clinch. He's got good technique, and he's not as easy as you would think to get down. And then I started thinking, what are the judges going to do if they see me shoot and shoot and shoot and not get the takedown? Are they just gonna score it the other way? So then I had to be careful there. Maybe clinch up a little bit more. I don't know, man. Like I said, we've been tweaking my game and tweaking some things that we've seen from that fight, and just trying to improve and become a better version of myself.
Dustin, if the UFC came to you and they said, "Give us one thing that we can do to change all the issues that we're having with these judges, and the decisions that they're having," what would it be? What stands out to you that should be done to be tweaked?
Well, I tell you what, one thing first and foremost that stands out to me is not have the judges octagon side, not have them ringside, have them in a quiet room, a soundproof room with no cell phone, with no other distraction, just them and watching with no sound. So you're not hearing the commentating ringside and you're not hearing the crowd ringside. For example, with Khalil and I, he landed a few more big blows, and the crowd or judges or excuse me, crowd commentators would say something, and if you're a judge, you're getting persuaded by that. So everybody's like, "Oh, he landed the big shots." Well, I doubled him up. So then again, in shots, almost doubled him up in significant strikes. So then again, who's taking more damage? Is he taking more damage because he's getting hit twice as much, or am I taking more damage based off of a hard shot? What looks like a hard shot. And another thing that really bothers me about that fight is while I did eat a couple hard shots, I was never rocked. I was never wobbled. I was never staggered. There was never dominance. I always came back over the top. And I ate them. And that's one thing that I'm thankful for. I won the award at our gym. It's Chin of the Year. And it's not something I'm very proud of but at the same time, if you're going to play this game, you better have a hard head and a thick skull and a chin on you. And I was able to eat those shots, walk right through them, and walk him down, put the pressure on him. And in a sense, I was feeling him giving up a little bit and quitting while I was still going. And to me, like I said, I was the one in there. That's why I think that won that fight. But going back to your question, man, is take the judges, put them in a soundproof room away from all the sound and the audience and the commentators, and score the fight that way.
I love it.
I think that would make a big difference, man.
I love it. I think that makes all the sense in the world, and you're spot on, in my opinion.
Judges are human too, man. They can easily be persuaded just like anybody else. I mean, the sound of the crowd, listening to the commentators, you're right there. You can easily be persuaded just by what people are saying and the noise they're making. So that would be my first recommendation.
Did you have a medical suspension at all after that fight?
No, I mean the standard 30-day. I mean, the body felt like a train wreck. I'm not gonna lie. Face was sore, and then excuse me, I went on an elk hunt right after that. So I was on my feet walking, I don't know how many miles, 30, 40, 50 miles, hunting deer and hunting elk, legs all swollen, man. And just the pain doesn't hurt as bad when you win the fight, but when you lose the fight, all you can think about is the pain. So the unfortunate part about it, but
Did you get any good food on the elk hunt?
I did, yeah. My buddies and I, we got a doe and a cow. So we got a female deer, female elk, and split up the meat. And I just had some of it this afternoon for lunch.
Very good, man. I'm sure it's delicious. So speaking of Chin of the Year, I have to ask your take on the Jamal Hill Glover Teixeira fight. Glover Teixeira looked like the real life Rocky in there. I couldn't believe how much damage he took and stayed up. What's your takeaway on that fight? How good is Jamal Hill?
I agree, man. I tell you what, I came away, I watched that fight a couple different times. And I was just super impressed with Jamal Hill. I mean, he's definitely has a dog inside of him. And I think he's much stronger than what he appears. He's not a physical specimen by any means. I've never seen him in person, but it looks like he has good height on him, and he must be strong as an ox because Glover just could not get that takedown on him. And I thought, and hats off to Glover, man. He is just a true warrior, and at his age, man, kudos to him, respect to him. And it was just two great competitors, two great warriors going at it. And Jamal's a dog, man. I'll give it to him. He fought hard. He even at times when he got down and Glover got him down, and you can see it one time really stood out. I can't remember. I think it was like the third round, maybe the end of the second round, and Glover's on top, and Jamal kind of scoots himself to the cage, and I saw him look at his corner like, "I'm good. I got this." And I was like, "Damn, man!" Where a lot of guys would panic with that big guy on you, and he was just really calm and in his element, man. So he really did impress me that night. It'll be interesting. And kudos to Jamal because I thought looking at the division, I thought there was a chance of me fighting Jamal Hill before Jamal Hill fought and won a light heavyweight championship. So kudos to him, man. He kind of won a fan in me that night. He even what he said in the octagon post fight at the end, he said, "And all you other light heavyweights, you're looking at it, come and get it." And I was like, "Damn, respect, man."
So right now, if you had to pick between Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochaska, who wins the fight?
Oh, geez, it's going to be a great fight. Jury guys like the 205 Tony Ferguson. He never stops moving. He's very unorthodox. You can't hold him down either. And then Jamal's not going to try to hold him down. And I don't think Jerry. I don't know if he wrestles. I mean, he's not a strong wrestler. I mean, he's very capable and works it, but I think Jamal's just a little bit bigger and stronger. And again, I something I took away from that fight, and I didn't realize it until that night. I've been watching Jamal. I'm like, man, what does this guy have? Like, well, I don't get it. Like, how is he doing what he's doing? And I think it's his length and his strength. So I would take Jamal over Jerry, even though it'd be a great fight.
Okay, well, we're going to see. I can't wait to see how everything unplays in the division. Before we transition to camp at Factory X and this matchup with Azamat, I wanted to get a pick from you of John Jones and Cyril Gahn. The heavyweight titles around the corner. Who do you see winning that?
Gosh, man, that one's a super tough one because John Jones is the goat to me, the best to ever do it, just an absolute specimen. But he hasn't competed in a few years, and he's going up to heavyweight against another extremely athletic specimen, and going to be a very interesting fight. I got it. I can't pick against Jones. I'm going to take Jones. I'm so excited to see how he does a heavyweight and for that matchup. My goodness, what a stellar fight, man! It's awesome. And finally, he's fighting guys that I feel like he's been one of his biggest attributes is his size and his speed and athleticism.
Mhm.
Well, now these heavyweights are becoming a little bit different these days. Cyril Gahn and Francis Ngannou. I mean, those are some Stipe. Those are some big athletic guys. So now he's going to be fighting on more of a fair playing field, so to speak. So we'll see how it happens, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. All right, so camp at Factory X. Obviously, you got a ways out before April 15th, so a lot of hard training to do. What are the plans for this camp? Are you bringing anyone in? Is it going to be any different than previous camps?
No, man, it's one of those things I always say: if it's not broken, don't fix it. We've got a great squad at Factory X. We have a great leader, Mark Montoya, and our strength and conditioning program at Land Up Performance is top notch. So I have all of the right people around me, all of the pieces to the puzzle to help me get better. And now we just go grind. My buddy Cody Brundage, as you know, man, I'm in his corner. Every fight he's in my corner, and we grind together every day in the gym. And I think he's going to be a great look. You know, he's a very strong wrestler. So I'll get those rounds that way. And Ozma, it's not like he's good at wrestling. Um, and he's going to try to probably clinch up and take me down a little bit, especially beginning. But his gas tank is a little bit suspect, and that's something that I'm going to continue working on and making sure that I can put the pace on him, and that my cardio is top level. And we've just got a great group of guys at Factory X going to help me achieve that.
When I look on Tapology, it says, UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Allen, but it doesn't say a venue. Do you know, is this going to be at the Apex or is it going to be somewhere else?
I sure hope not, man. I was hearing rumors that it was either going to be New York or Miami or possibly Vegas, and I know they just booked Brooklyn the week before, April 8th, that big pay per view card. So I'm hoping it's somewhere in Miami, somewhere warm, somewhere cool, somewhere other than the Apex, man. Let's get this going, man. I mean, let's get back to the crowds. We do this for the energy and the crowds and the people, and let's get out there and fight for the fans, man.
Yeah, Miami. That'd be a fun place to go and have this one. Now, Azamat, as I mentioned earlier, he's number 15 right now in the division. He's undefeated. He's 12-0, and his most recent fights are round three wins over Devin Clark and Tafon and Chukwi. So you said earlier, Dustin, that you think he has a suspect gas tank. Just break this down for me. Ultimately, what's the course to victory here? How do you see this fight actually playing out?
Well, I think it's going to be a super hard first round and a super hard fight, man. The guy's good. I love that he's undefeated. I love the challenge. I love the opportunity. I love, the opportunity to keep my ranking above him and to keep climbing that ladder towards the top, man. And that was my word for 2023 was keep. I just want to keep what I have. I want to keep moving. I want to keep getting better. I want to keep growing in faith and keep believing in myself and my team. And I think it's going to be a tough fight, man. I got to keep my confidence. I got to keep keep my swagger about me, keep my wits about me, my mind, and just go in there confident and prepared. And I do that every single fight, man. I'm always prepared. And then it just comes down to making the execution and being able to execute the things that you've trained, and trust your training and abilities, and just let it go, man. Turn the brain off and let it go. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity. I know it's going to be a tough fight. It's not going to be an easy challenge, but again, I look forward to it.
Do you think you get him out of there?
I think so. Yeah, of course. Anybody I fight, anytime I go into the fight, I never think I'm thinking of trying to win by decision. I'm always thinking of a way to put them away. So there's no doubt that this time will be any different.
If you do that, if you go out there and you give him his first loss and put him away, what does that say? What does that mean for like where you're at in your career and the next steps?
Oh, it's huge, man, and it's something I really want to do, and I'm really focusing on, man. It should catapult me. My goal last year was to be 3-0 and to get into the top 10. And unfortunately, I was 2-1 and I fell in rankings. I didn't get any closer. So if I can go out there, get a big finish against an undefeated prospect, somebody that's up here in the rankings with me now, that should shoot me right to the a top guy, man. A top 10 matchup is what I'm looking for and what I've been training for. And that's a big goal of mine this year, is to get in that top 10. And the division's so wide open, man. I've been in this game so long. I've given so much to it that anything can happen, man. If I just keep doing what I've been doing the past 12, 13 years professionally, good things are going to come to me. And I truly believe that. And hopefully the right door opens, and I get an opportunity at gold someday.
Well, it's always must see TV when you compete inside the UFC octagon. There's no doubt about that. Before we do sign off, Dustin, I know you're a football guy just like myself. So give me a Super Bowl prediction. Who you got, Philly or KC?
Well, I'm going to take Philly, and I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm happy that an NFC East team is in the Super Bowl. I hate that it's the Eagles. I really did tune out once my Cowboys lost. That was a rough one for me. I was super. I don't know what I was expecting. It's happened my whole life, but it gets a little bit better now. They're actually making the playoffs, and I won our first road playoff game in forever. I love KC, man. I love Mahomes. I love Kelsey. I love that team, but I think Philly's just too good, and I think they're going to end up winning. Um, Final score, I don't know. I think like a 27-17, 34-21. I think they win by 10, 14 points, somewhere in there.
Okay. Well, where are you watching it? You staying home?
I'll probably stay home. I haven't even thought that far ahead. And again, I'm not gonna lie, man. My Cowboys lost. I got so pissed. And of course, I still watch the games, but it's just not the same. It's not. And I love the game, but yeah, we haven't even planned a Super Bowl party yet. Again, a couple of weeks ago, I completely locked into my training camp and this fight with Azamat. And at first you build your habits, and then your habits build you. So, and then I'm a guy that is easily persuaded too to go have fun. So it's like, I just got to say no, and start that habit right now. And haven't even thought about a Super Bowl party, man. And it's one thing my brother-in-law told me. He's like, well, at least you don't have to deal with the distraction once the Cowboys lost. Like, yeah, it's a good way to look at it. So I'm just done with it and focused on April 15th.
Sounds good, my man. Great having you on the show again. As always, April 15th, the Hanyak DJ will be back in action. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor, my man. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. The Hanyak DJ on Instagram is where you can catch me primarily. Twitter, the same. Just give a shout out to my team at Factory X and Land Out Performance, and my agency, Iridium Sports Agency. Man, I've surrounded myself with awesome people that really have my best interest in theirs. And yeah, man, we just keep doing. Like I said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Life's good. I've got a great group of people around me. We're just going to keep marching on and go get this victory April 15th.